Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Data Dialogues. This is a very special episode. This is my chance to welcome Scalefree as one of the new or the only other foundational partner for the Data Vault Innovators Community. So, welcome, guys. Thanks for joining.
Hi,
Hi,
Julien.
Julian. Hi.
So, look, we'll start with some intros, and firstly for yourselves, and then obviously for the organisation. So, Michael, do you want to do a quick intro?
Yeah, my name is Michael Schimke. I'm the CEO for, well, one of two CEOs actually of Scalefree. I'm focusing on the front office, essentially the consulting part and the training part. That's my responsibility. And I'm the co-owner of Dan's book, Building a Scalable Data Warehouse with Data Vault 2.0, doing a lot of trainings. We've done thousands of trainings at Scalefree. And that's me more or less. So, Christoff.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Christoff?
Yeah, I'm Christoff. I'm the other CEO. I'm mostly focused on all the economic and business stuff. That's what I studied as well. So I kind of slided into that IT sector when I met Michael like 7 years ago. And since then, we're building the company together. And it's really successful and really fun so far. So I hope we can continue doing that for many years to come.
Excellent. Well, look, right at the start there, I mentioned, you've joined us as the other foundational member for the DVIC. So, I guess quickly for the audience, a little explanation of what that means is Scalefree and Ignition have partnered to help effectively establish and fund the Data Vault Innovators Community, and turn what started as a project in APAC into a global entity to bring all of the various communities together. So, from my side, very much appreciate you joining this on this journey. Um, let's tell the audience a little bit about who Scalefree is. So, Christoff, maybe give us the history of Scalefree.
I would maybe switch it up a bit. I will talk about what we're doing, and the history I will leave for Michael because he can
Sounds
tell
good.
that story amazingly. So what is Scalefree doing, right? I get that question a lot in interviews, right? New people showing up and ask me, and are you guys actually doing? That's a
Yeah.
famous question for consulting companies, right? So I'm always telling them we're doing three things, right? The first thing is advisory, right? So we're going to new clients, potential clients, and helping them to find the right architecture, right, the right processes, the right people, and yes, so help them along to build a roadmap and how they can achieve their goals and how it should look like, and all that sweet stuff around the big picture, and making sure they will find the right path, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is, of course, the implementation. So I'm really proud that we're not just talking, but actually able to implement the stuff we talk about. And so the implementation always is a big part. So that starts maybe with a bigger engagement from our side. It usually fades out a bit when the customer becomes more efficient on their own, right? Um, and this is the third part we're doing to make sure the customer gets better. And getting there is the training part, right? So we started as a training company. It's still one of the big piece of the company, and that can be public trainings, but we also do a lot of small customized trainings or special trainings for developers, and maybe introduction class for the managers, right? But making sure that the client gets better and better at what they're doing, and at one point, if they're happy with what they're doing, and the biggest migration part, for example, is done, they can do it on their own, or they maybe decide to keep one of our staffs there to just help them out along the way, because it's not that like a data warehouse is finished at one point and that's it.
Yeah.
Like big corporations like to buy other corporations, etc., etc. So there's always something new that has to be done.
Absolutely. I mean, it sounds
Mm.
very familiar. Obviously, there's a lot
Yeah.
of
Mm.
similarities between Ignition and Scalefree. In fact,
Yeah.
we joked about that when I was over there, that
Yeah.
that Ignition is just Scalefree for Australia, or vice versa. So
Yeah.
Michael,
Absolutely.
why don't you give us the background on how
Mm.
it all started?
Yeah, it all started essentially when we wrote the book together, Dan and me. We needed essentially a body for the training, so we do us. That's how it started. We did a lot of training in 2016, but then we also realized that clients were struggling with the implementation part of the data vault. So they came back to us essentially with more questions, and we started helping them and empower. We followed this empowerment strategy with the client. really helping them utilizing Data Vault in their project. Essentially, it's kind of training on the job. Essentially, that's how it started. And then more and more clients wanted to essentially get more and more services from us. And the one big piece for that, how we do it, is essentially by having a knowledge base where we have the knowledge body with all the consultants, but also knowledge base, a wiki, for example, solution base, where we keep track of all these solutions. And that's also part of of our business, essentially, to build knowledge. And that's why we looked at you a bit jealous, to be honest, when you start your journey in the APAC region with Data Vault Innovators. It was a good opportunity to spread the knowledge, to spread some the content we generate, because we're generating a lot of content as well. That's the other piece. Absolutely. So there's a lot of webinars we're creating, a lot of Q&As and so on. So that's like newsletters, blog articles, lots of content essentially we're producing, and it sounds like a good opportunity for us to spread the knowledge. That's the other piece of the action essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, you probably slightly answered my next question, but I guess, and Christoff, why did you guys decide to actually join us in this journey of establishing DVIC?
Yes, maybe jump in. Mike already said about the content piece. He talked about that. So, I mean, in the end, to have the journey story here as well, right? You reach out to me and you showed me what you want to do, right? And it started out you showing me it and wanted to ask as a like an additional sponsor. And when I saw that, I was like, through that, let's do it together because it looked amazing and it was always something we looked into. And with the forum that were already there, there was always something not going right, or it was not, it just stopped at one point. Remember, there were forums in the past, but then it was shut down, and I always wanted to have that kind of forum. So when you said that was perfect for us, right? For all those reasons that Michael said, because we're producing much content all the time, and we share it, of course, in a newsletter, then it goes on the blog, and then it stays there. And we're doing it for 6 years now, so a lot of stuff is staying there. And I think to have one platform to be able to share the content makes a lot of sense, right? And where people can actually scroll through, right, can comment, can engage with each other. That's a way nicer thing than have it on some website in a blog area somewhere, right? And I hope we are not going to be the only ones, because there's a lot of great Data Vault content out there. And with the community aspect, I really hope that many others will jump onto it as well and create their own content, or the content they already have, and start sharing it there. Because if we have one platform and all the content there, that's going to help a lot. Especially Data Vault community. There's so many great case studies out there that people can read and see what can go right using Data Vault, right? So people actually see how it works, right? And hopefully we can prevent some clients to do some mistakes and then maybe discard Data Vault because they think it doesn't work because they didn't apply the standards at all, right? Or being creative with the modeling technique, stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I'm we're ecstatic that you've joined us on this, and and really helping us to actually turn this into a global thing. I think without your involvement, it would have stayed as an Asia Pacific kind of initiative, and this has really broadened the scope of it. And we've got other sponsors coming on board. A few already actually joined up, and quite a few who've already verbally said they're coming on. So for those watching, keep your eye out for more and more sponsors joining, and lots more interesting content. And Michael, you already do a lot of digital content. I know you run regular weekly things and those sorts of things. Can you maybe share a little bit of what you have been doing and that is going to come onto the platform?
Yep. So what we have essentially, it started with the newsletters, to be honest. So newsletters, blog articles. We have success stories with our clients that we publish on our website. What we also do is at the moment, what I'm doing is I have this Data Vault Friday, where every Friday apparently at 11 a.m. Central European Standard Time, we have this live Q&A session where people can just sign in, ask their questions. Maybe they can also send them up front. So I'm a little bit prepared by having a slide, but you could also just jump in and ask questions. Actually, I'm used to that from the trainings, and we're answering them. So it's typically not just data vault questions actually. So we also have some dimensional modeling, a little bit of message queuing, the kind of technology essentially. So everything around data-driven technologies, cloud computing, MPP, data vault, dimensional modeling, because that's also part of information modeling and so on. That's all good. Yeah, that's one thing. And then the other thing is we are at the moment publishing a blog series with Microsoft, with a vendor, and on the Microsoft blog about data vault on the Azure cloud. Is a bit delayed at the moment because they came up with a new product, so we have to wait a bit until that settles in, and then we continue writing. So it's not stopped it yet. There's I think 6 or 7 more articles to come, and yeah, and what I'm looking for actually with the community is at the moment a lot of the content we produce is a one-way street. So when we have some comments on the blog, but it's a lot of really one way. So I'm looking forward for interactivity with the community. That's a big deal for us. To really get feedback from the community about the content, maybe more questions about Data Vault. Yeah, just good feedback. That's what I'm looking for.
And you guys deliver training in multiple languages. Will there be content in multiple languages as well?
So content-wise, we focus in English. So we do trainings in German and English in all over Europe essentially. But content-wise, it's mostly English content. So we might have something in German, but not much, I would say. It's mostly in English.
But Christoff, we've also planning to do some stuff with additional forums and some extra extensions to the community as well. So what's the idea there?
I mean, in the end, we ask ourselves what can we do to maybe have one forum for specific topics, right?
Yeah.
Because that's kind of missing if we have the one stream and everything is, it's like an unmanaged data lake where everything is dumped somehow. So it's cool to have some sorting there through forums, right? We are still discussing, right, Julien, like what's the granularity of things? Like, are we going for a specific automation tool or go with this more bigger picture like automation, right? And we're still in discussion about that. So if anyone has requests, I would like a forum to see on the community, just reach out. Seriously, like we are in the foundation phase. We're creating a lot of new stuff on the platform, and we're always looking for ideas, right? So we look forward to having those forums for specific topics like automation or modeling, for example, where we can discuss specific topics. And as the community grows, we can do smaller ones, right? To go one level down. Because if there's a lot of content about one specific tool, we maybe want to have a forum for that. Because many people, of course, if you're using, for example, dbt Cloud, and you want to have questions about it, it's good to have one forum maybe specific to that. And maybe you don't care about the other automation tool that much. So you don't want to see all that content because at the moment it's not that interesting to you, right? So I think with forums we can do a lot, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think
the other thing is load con. So people meet again, right? Shaking hands and meeting for real again. So that's also a big deal. Really helping to organize teams and user groups locally, essentially, and also with local content about local events. Even the local languages would work for us. So that's what I think at least. Yep.
Yeah, and there's obviously the user groups that are out there. So for those people that are part of a user group, the platform is here to help support those user groups. So we're going to make it available for for forums and live streams and those sorts of things. So if you're part of a user group and and the platform can help you reach your base, then that's it's there to help. So. And yeah, absolutely, Christoff. As you said, if someone wants to see a topic in the forums, then they should reach out. We'll make it happen. It's not quite easy enough on the platform just yet for users to create their own forums, but any topic that someone's interested in, we'll certainly want to support. And there's regional ones up there now. There's the recruitment forum. There's the general Q&A stuff, and I expect there'll be a lot more. So I guess people should expect to see content from you two. Who else in your team is going to be interactive on the community?
I mean, we have 2 people or like multiple people for example, for our expert session. So I'm sure those guys will show up. We will be posting those as well. Like at the moment, we have a WebScape expert session, DBT expert session. there will probably coming up new ones in the future. So we already, in the end, at Scalefree, we always, getting people to do those things, to grow essentially. So we're gonna get a lot more, let's say, influencers in the future, to share their content in the area where they really specialize in, right? So those guys will definitely show up, and I hope the rest of the team as well. I showed like the essentials to the team, I think just last week. So I hope we can see a lot of Scalefree, but of course, I hope it will be a good community with a lot of people engaging, and not only the Scalefree team. But you're gonna see a lot of Scalefree faces.
Yeah, at the moment we already write the newsletters inside the team, so it's to be honest, it's not me writing newsletters anymore. It's typically the team and the bot now. And then the webinar is also done a lot by the team, by some specialists inside Scalefree when they know, let's say, WebScape or VaultSpeed or DVT, Coalesce and so on. They present these tools to the community essentially. That's how it works already these days. And the blog article series at Microsoft we write together as a team. That's the Data Vault is mine at the moment, so.
Yeah, no,
Good.
That's great. I mean, I think the audience is pretty used to seeing some familiar faces from our side with with James and Richard and Knowles and myself. So it'd be great to have some extra faces to join us, and obviously the full team interacting around various topics, and I think really that peer-to-peer kind of interaction will help us lift everyone in the community, and that's essentially that's the idea, isn't it? Is to help everyone get better at data vaults and have a lot more successful data vaults out there, and really grow the skills in the community. It's a great skill set to have. We know that that it's sought after in the market, and so help more people develop that skill set. That's fantastic. All right, guys. Well, I think this has been a great intro. Thanks for joining us as part of the DVIC. Looking forward to what's coming soon. I'm sure there'll be lots more announcements, but for now, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julien, for the great questions, and yes, see you soon.